Thank you. Let's bring in former Assistant FBI Director Chris Swecker. Chris, good morning to you. How do you expect today to unfold when it comes to this affidavit?
Yeah, so to answer that question, you have to understand what is likely in the affidavit. There has to be evidence or facts that show that a crime has occurred, and there's evidence of that crime at a specific location. What you need to do that, you need to describe the evidence itself, which in this case would be very sensitive documents. I'm not going to say classified because the statutes they cited talk about national defense-related information. So it doesn't necessarily have to be classified, but it has to be extremely sensitive or relating to national defense. The other part of the statute involves destruction of the documents and that sort of thing. Or whatever the conduct is that is the crime. Mm-hmm. Now, you also have to show, or information has to come from sources, that you can't get a search warrant of this nature without having live information from live sources, people. And that's where it's really going to get hung up, I think, with the judge, and I think DOJ is going to win their argument, with this judge at least, and that is they're going to say, well, there's going to be so much information about the reliability of the sources, the specificity of their information that it's going to identify them. We can't do that. We also can't identify the documents themselves that we're looking for. So all that leaves us is the conduct of the former president. And I think that DOJ would be more than happy to release that. And if they release anything, my concern is that's all they're going to release. And that is, that's information that without context is detrimental to the ex-president.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
DOJ is going to submit a fully Sharpie document. The magistrate judge is going to say what can and can't stay in terms of redactions.
Besides maybe the bad stuff on Trump.
It's going to go to the public, and then appeals will follow. Meantime, I want to get your thoughts on this. The Department of Justice has released the 2019 memo advising Attorney General Bill Barr not to pursue then-President Trump on obstruction of justice charges. The memo reads, quote, "There is considerable evidence that the president took these official actions not for an illegal purpose, but rather because he believed the investigation was politically motivated and undermined his administration's efforts to govern." Chris, what should the American people take away from this?
Well, the first thing is that the DOJ was spring-loaded and still is to investigate all things related to Trump. However, when that happens, the stigma that's attached to that never really goes away. Yet when there's total vindication, 100% vindication, no, we don't hear anything about it. So unless somebody actually makes a formal request for it, in this case, the nonprofit or the think tank that requested the information wasn't real happy with the result, so they didn't publicize it. So I think it's just more evidence. I think that the Justice Department is not, the equal application of justice is definitely in question, if you will. That's an understatement.
So Senator Ron Johnson has some information from an FBI whistleblower, and that whistleblower says the agency ordered against investigating Hunter Biden's laptop before the 2020 election. And he wrote a letter to the DOJ Inspector General saying after the FBI obtained the Hunter Biden laptop from the Wilmington, Delaware computer shop, these whistleblowers stated that local FBI leadership told employees, "You will not look at that Hunter Biden laptop," and that the FBI is, quote, "not going to change the outcome of the election again." A loaded statement there. What is your reaction to it?
Yeah, I think first of all, I think there are multiple whistleblowers on this, so that's why I find it credible. I think it infuriates and confuses people because, as I just mentioned, the equal application of justice, if you will. It seems like this got buried. The Hillary Clinton matter with the server in the closet outside the control of the government, that got pretty much deep-sixed. Yet all things, as I mentioned earlier, all things Trump seem to get aggressive, proactive investigation. So, I talk to people inside and outside the FBI, colleagues of mine, a wide circle of people. And I think this is the single issue that gets them really worked up over how the Justice Department is operating now. And that is, here's this laptop, obvious incriminating information on it, a 2-year investigation plus, and we know they had at least a money laundering investigation because the receipt given for the laptop had an FBI money laundering case file number. I recognize the designation on it. So even people inside the Bureau scratching their head and saying, why are we sitting on this? Why hasn't this case moved in 2 years? Yet all this other proactive, aggressive investigation on other matters that involve Trump.
When half the country feels like the DOJ is politically motivated, you have a problem.
That's bad.
All right, Chris, thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.